But first, we're going to start with our top story. Of course, Ukrainian President Zelensky's historic address to Congress. Speaking through an interpreter, he renewed his request for a NATO-enforced humanitarian no-fly zone over his war-torn nation. Here is a little bit of what he had to say.
Russia has turned the Ukrainian sky into a source of death for thousands of people. Russian troops have already fired nearly 1,000 missiles at Ukraine, countless bombs. They use drones to kill us with precision. This is a terror that Europe has not seen for 80 years, and we are asking for a reply, for an answer to this terror from the whole world. Is this a lot to ask for, to create a no-fly zone over Ukraine to save people? Is this too much to ask?
President Zelenskyy is also asking for better defense systems, more powerful fighter jets, and more sanctions against Russian leaders. Yesterday, President Biden signed a bill granting $13.6 billion in aid for Ukraine. He's expected to announce more security funding later today. And earlier, I spoke with Imtiaz Tyab, Caitlin Huey-Burns, and Nancy Cordes about President Zelenskyy's speech. And I began by asking Imtiaz about Zelenskyy urging the U.S. to impose a no-fly zone. No surprise that President Zelenskyy was asking for that no-fly zone. He's been asking since the very beginning for that to be implemented. But he used an interesting phrase. He said a humanitarian no-fly zone.
Yeah, it's pretty clear that President Zelenskyy understands that a no-fly zone is off the table. And a no-fly zone is just that any Russian aircraft, if it were to enter into Ukrainian airspace, would be shot out of the sky. But more importantly, that any sort of Russian hardware that is used to sort of project anything into the airspace of Ukraine would also be shot down. And that, of course, could lead to some sort of tit-for-tat, not only between the Ukraine and Russia, but indeed neighboring countries. And of course, the concern there is that could spill into a much wider context, or conflict rather. Now, this humanitarian no-fly zone is very specific, and let me try to unpack that a little bit. Essentially, what that would mean is that these corridors of Ukraine, which has seen such terrible fighting, places in the south, places in Kharkiv, Sumy that we heard mentioned, that where those civilians are trapped, that the air or the sky above those specific areas would be cleared so that these people could move out and not face any kind of Russian airstrike and the like. Now, whether that's going to happen or not, hard to say. It seems like quite a difficult thing to calibrate, a humanitarian no-fly zone. But it sounds like Volodymyr Zelenskyy is really looking for some way to stop so many civilians from dying in these very damaged areas of his country.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. In practice, a humanitarian no-fly zone sounds very similar to a regular no-fly zone in that it needs to be enforced, and that is sort of the problem. But he said he would offer an alternative. He talked about a defense system called an S-300. I know already the U.S. has provided some sort of anti-aircraft defense systems already. Do you know much about this defense system, or is this sort of offered more protection than what they're already being provided?
I think what we can say is that what the Ukrainians, what Zelenskyy really wants is to sort of up its might militarily. In fact, earlier today, we were at a training center where we were talking to your average person. We were talking to a woman who worked in IT who was basically receiving Kalashnikov training only 4 hours before she's essentially signed off to go to the fight. And we were talking to one of the trainers, and he said, listen, in the first 8 days of fighting, that started on the 24th of February when Russia started its invasion, because of the support Ukraine had received from so many countries outside the world, including the U.S., that their military capability had sort of doubled within that 8-day period. So the military prowess of the Ukrainians has certainly become much stronger and much more powerful because of the support they're receiving from the U.S., from NATO, from European countries, but they need more, and they need stronger weaponry as well if this fighting isn't going to stop. And that's what we heard Volodymyr Zelenskyy saying to this joint session of Congress, saying here's very specific weaponry that we need to continue this fight against Russia, because although Russia's military invasion of Ukraine is pretty clear not going as well as they thought it would, it's still able to inflict horrible damage, just horrific damage. I mean, that video that we saw President Zelenskyy play, in which you could see so many beautiful cities in this country in normal times, and then the horrors that they've become over the last 21 days. And I think it was really his way of showing to the world, this is what Russia is doing to us. We need to be able to fight back, and these are the things we need to fight back. Anne-Marie.
Imtiaz, thank you. We're going to let you go. Thank you so much. We want to bring in Caitlin Huey-Burns. She's joining us from Capitol Hill right now. So, Caitlin, we heard President Zelenskyy ask for several things, including increased sanctions, closing all U.S. ports to all Russian goods. And he made a point of essentially saying, you know, peace should be more important than profits. It's been interesting over the last few weeks that there certainly has seemed to have been some bipartisan support for cracking down on the Russian economy. Even when President Biden seemed hesitant to go further, you heard both Democrats and Republicans insisting that that was the path ahead. Does President Zelenskyy have support within Congress?
Hi, Anne-Marie. Well, absolutely. You saw the prolonged standing ovation when he came on the screen and when he finished his speech, talking to lawmakers up here over the past couple of weeks as this war has raged on. You've heard a ton of empathy from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle for Ukrainians, for the refugees, for Zelenskyy himself. And you've seen bipartisan support for sanctions, for more weapons to Ukraine, not only here on Capitol Hill, Anne-Marie, but also among the American public. Remember, the CBS News poll that came out earlier this week showed wide bipartisan support for doing more for Ukraine. And actually, even as President Biden's approval ratings have ticked up a few points over the past week, you've seen Americans say that they want President Biden to do more. And what they specifically want, according to our poll, is for the U.S. to send more weapons assistance, this as Zelenskyy continues to ask for it, and to issue tougher sanctions against Ukraine. So you have an American public that is looking at all of this footage, glued to the coverage, wanting to know what more they can do and what more the United States can do. So there is a lot of support up here on Capitol Hill. Now, we've seen some kind of, just to dissect kind of where the parties are at, Biden has been adamant that he does not want to issue a no-fly zone because he believes that that would represent an escalation against Russia and bring the U.S. potentially into a larger scale conflict. And he has been also adamant that he does not want to directly send those Soviet-era jets that Ukraine has been asking for because, again, that would be escalatory. But here on Capitol Hill, that proposal has gained some bipartisan support. You just had a bipartisan delegation go over to Poland to assess the refugee crisis. They've come back, asking for those military jets. You're starting to see some bipartisan support grow for some of those demands.
Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you very much. And now we're going to pivot over to the White House, where Nancy Cordes has been standing by. So, Nancy, we heard President Zelenskyy ask very specifically for military aid, very specifically for more pressure to be put on the Russian economy. I thought the artistry of the speech was interesting. It was clear he was trying to use phrases and echo concepts that would be familiar with the American public, from, I have a dream, to even when he talked about, the Russians are not just attacking our buildings and our people, they're attacking our values, collective, our freedom, our desire for happiness. I just thought to myself, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Definitely trying to tap into those emotions, but also a little bit trying to tap into the Congress and the president's concept of leadership. What type of leaders are you going to be, essentially asking them?
Right. He wanted to bring this faraway war close to home. When he was speaking to the Canadian Parliament yesterday, he said, look, imagine how you would feel if Toronto's skyscrapers were coming under attack, if landmarks in Vancouver were being shelled. And today, before the U.S. Congress, he brought up 9/11. He brought up Pearl Harbor being attacked in World War II. He said, you know, those dark days for the U.S., well, that's what every day has been like for us for the past 3 weeks. He said, I have a need, recalling that I Have a Dream speech by Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. He said, I have a need to protect my skies. So making this request personal, trying to evoke just how frightening this experience is right now, every single day for the Ukrainian people. But it's so interesting. We're already starting to get reaction from lawmakers as they leave the room. And this is an issue, this issue of a no-fly zone, that simply does not cut along party lines. You have some lawmakers, like the Senate Republican leader, Mitch McConnell, who say, why is the president President Biden now, so worried about provoking Vladimir Putin by imposing a no-fly zone or by providing MiG jets that the Ukrainians want? Putin's already been provoked. How can he be provoked any further? We shouldn't worry so much about the prospect of a U.S.-Russian conflict. But then Ted Cruz, a conservative, if there ever was one, came out of that room and said it's an unacceptable risk to be drawn into the possibility of a head-to-head conflict between the U.S. and Russia, two nuclear powers that could only create more suffering. And clearly that's something that President Biden at the moment agrees with him on. They just feel that the chances that Russia would view that as a direct provocation are simply too great. Now, this issue of providing jets and the S-300 anti-surface-to-air missiles that Zelenskyy asked for in the speech, that's a little bit different. And it is possible to see that there could be some movement on that. After all, the White House initially supported the idea of Polish jets being given to Ukraine until the Poles kind of pulled a bait and switch and said, well, yeah, we want to do it, but we want to make the transfer on a U.S. base in Germany. And that's when things got a little too hot for the president, and he said, no, we don't want to be the middleman in this situation. And so it's still possible that some arrangement could be worked out that would end up providing these Polish jets to the Ukrainians. And in a couple of hours, we're going to hear the president of the United States announce $800 million more in security assistance to the Ukrainians that will include things like javelins and stingers, anti-aircraft weaponry, anti-tank weaponry. So maybe not exactly what Zelenskyy was asking for in this speech, but U.S. officials argue that he's been using those kinds of systems pretty effectively, and the more he has, the better.
I don't want to be sort of hyperbolic about this, but it feels like this is unprecedented. I can't recall another time when the leader of a country that is under attack was given an audience in this way with Congress.
It's really a stunning sight, I have to say. As someone who, has covered Congress for many years before I came over here to the White House, you see a foreign leader giving an address to a joint session of Congress maybe once a year, certainly not at all in the past couple of years during the COVID pandemic. The Pope comes, very infrequently to speak. But, this is U.S. Congress. They are debating with other U.S. leaders. It's not normally a forum for foreign leaders. But here, Volodymyr Zelenskyy was speaking to a packed auditorium of Democrats and Republicans, receiving not one but two long standing ovations. It's clear that even if he doesn't get everything he wants out of this speech, he has the respect of lawmakers here in the U.S., and he has a commitment from the president, who just signed yesterday another assistance package worth $13.6 billion for not just weaponry, but for the humanitarian assistance for refugees who are flooding out of the country. Everything, paying for everything from laundry detergent to soap, for food rations for these people who have left Ukraine with nothing. But also, so importantly, in that 13.6 billion. Economic assistance to help Ukraine rebuild when all of this is over, because that is going to be so desperately needed. And one hopes that the conclusion of this conflict, of course, comes sooner rather than later.
Yeah, the Ukrainians can't come back if there's nothing to come back to. Nancy, thank you so much.
You're welcome.